So this is the second of 2 videos about the CBT-E concept of the pie chart of life. If this is your life, then what is it made up of? What does your energy, thought, headspace, time, like what does it all go towards? And with an eating disorder, your pie chart becomes like dominated by thoughts of food, body, weight, shape, honestly to the point where it takes up like 95% of your pie chart. And so in recovery, as your eating disorder moves out, the aim is to like diversify your pie chart and introduce new things so that you've got more balance, areas of interest, and like it aligns better to your values as well. And my psychologist taught me there's kind of 2 ways to diversify your pie chart. Like one is to introduce new segments. So whether it's like a new hobby, taking a course, meeting new people, or the second is to like nourish and grow existing segments. So like relationships, if because of your eating disorder, the relationship segment has shrunk right down, how can you like grow and build that back out? And I've kind of done both of those 2 things in my recovery. So if anyone's interested, I was gonna try and show that a bit in this video. And just to kind of like frame this video before I start, I started CBT-E over 3.5 years ago. So this has been a really long process to like move the eating disorder out and move other things in. And honestly, I still feel like I'm working on it. Like I'm still finding myself, finding things that I'm interested in. Still get times when I'm bored or sad or stressed or anxious. Like I definitely feel like it's an ongoing process. But if you think about like how many years the eating disorder has been in place and everything it took away, like no wonder it's going to take time to build other things back up. What is Beyonce doing? I don't know. Shorts pocket? Oh, Bren. So I've just got to my first book club meeting. Exciting. The book was Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club, which is really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm also a bit nervous because I found the group on like a mum's group on Facebook. I'm just really worried about what questions they're going to ask me. But I don't want to start avoiding doing things because of this, so I'm just gonna do it. Every month they do like a different oh shit. Every month they do a different theme and you're supposed to go and nominate a book under that theme for the next month, and I've forgotten to think up a book. Right, I'm gonna have to go and Google funny books now before I go in.
He was brought up totally not religious, all those facts.
So I did it. I did enjoy it. They were a really nice group of people. It was a bit outside my comfort zone, but it was good. Like we just chatted about the book a bit, chatted a bit of shit, ate some breakfast. I'm still kind of amazed I can actually do these things. Like I got here without looking at the menu for breakfast, didn't give a shit what other people were ordering, and there was like fruit salad on the menu and stuff. I was like, obviously not going to fill me up. And I ordered avocado on toast and then asked them if they could put a couple of eggs on, even though it wasn't on the thing, but I like my thing with eggs, and they did. So, and yeah, just in the past, like the anxiety that this would have caused, like not because it's just meeting a new group of people, but that breakfast, like, and it feels really weird. Like I honestly do this stuff and I'm like, oh my God, am I allowed to do this? Like, can I actually be one of these people that just does stuff that other people do? Oh, and also on food, a couple of them were like, oh, I'm not going to be able to eat for a while now. And I was like, what? I'm going home for lunch. Ladies, please. Have you just woken up? You going to get some lunch? Betty, lunch? So this is lunch, a separate meal to breakfast. Eating breakfast out does not mean you need to skip lunch. Even if some other people do, you know, like different bodies, different paths. Like my body doesn't know what the other people from book club are eating right now. I have a different body to them. My body's not modulating its weight based on what they're eating. And I'm on a different path. Like they're not in recovery from a restrictive eating disorder. And yeah, they're different meals. Stevie? Oh, hello. Just like, get off me. Let me clean that up, filthy mitts.
today was gonna be the day that they're gonna know it.
Hello, dog. Good boy. Good boy. Actually, I probably need the plate back for this. These are like the messiest cereal bars ever. Someone sent me a meme that was like, if 2020 was a cereal bar, it would be a Nature Valley bar. Or what was it? What was it, dog? I've said it wrong. It was like, if 2020 is like a Nature Valley bar, an absolute mess. The meme did it better than I did.
I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. And I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
Bertie's had a bath and he's trying to dry himself.
And all the roads that lead there are winding.
Good boy!
And all the
Good
lines that guide the
boy!
way are blinding.
Hey, dog. That is the next book for book club. It's massive, and I do not know what has happened to our copy of it, but anyway, it's Sapiens, which I'd kind of like to read anyway, but I'm not 100% if I'm going to stick with the book club. I'm going to read the book anyway, maybe, and then I can decide. Oops, good start. So the piano is like a new segment that I've introduced to my pie chart, and I'm by no means brilliant at it, but it is so satisfying to like learn a new song. I recently learned Exile by Taylor Swift and Bon Iver, and now I'm learning 2 songs for Alfie. One is Don't Worry About Me by Francis, which is just the most beautiful song, and the other is Lost Without You by Freya Ridings. Both beautiful and just really like meaningful to us. So I'm trying to learn them before his like 1-year anniversary is coming up. And I don't even read music when I learn them, like I actually just learn them off YouTube. And then like, Don't Worry About Me, I've just had to like write out the notes. But whatever, if it works and I can learn a song, then I'm fine. Another thing with picking new things up is like not being too perfectionistic about it, like especially things I've never ever done or haven't done for years. Like I'm not going to be brilliant at it, I'm not brilliant at this, but it's still really like a really nice thing to be able to do. So it's not like I'm playing to like become the next Mozart or Francis or Freya Ridings or something. It's just for me really, like I just enjoy it. See? A whole bed to sleep on. Look where Stevie chooses to lie. On my clothes. I'm going to make some cards. Arts and crafts is probably an existing segment in my pie chart. It's something I've always loved. So I cut card shapes out of sketch paper, which is like watercolour paper, and then use the felt tip end of the pens to draw little rainbows. And I just try like different colour combinations. And then I get a cup of water and use some paint brushes to like wet the watercolours on the paper, and they kind of just all blend in with each other. It like comes out completely different every single time. And then I leave them to dry, and then later I can like doodle over the top of the rainbows. And I like doing rainbows because it's like a symbol to do with like pregnancy loss and child loss. I think I like doing creative things because like it kind of feels like a nice way to try and feel connected to Alfie through like music and art. So these are the brush tip watercolors that I use. I just bought them on Amazon during lockdown. And again, if you get freaked out with like needing to be perfect, or if you get kind of a mind blank and you don't know where to start, there are loads of good Instagram pages that do like watercolors and kind of like beginners how-to, or like YouTube channels. Pinterest as well is really good, and you can just go on and copy exactly what they do. Like, you don't need all this amazing creative inspiration yourself. You just go and copy other people's shit. And this was another creative thing that I've picked up in the last year. I've been making a patchwork quilt, but my sewing machine has like been down here, I want to say for about 8 months now. I haven't looked at this, but I started making these quilts for Alfie. So yeah, it's like a patchwork quilt, which I started making for him before he was born, and I want to finish it before his anniversary. So I got it out the other day and started having a look at it again, but then Bertie came along and he was like playing with his bone all over the quilt, so. I've ordered an iced mocha from Starbucks. Bren's out playing football, so I've just got one for me. I tend to alternate between iced mocha and iced caramel macchiato, like depending on how I feel. But really annoyingly, Starbucks writes their calories out on the menu, so I know which one has more calories. But yeah, I just ignore that basically and just judge it on how I feel. Because even if I do have more calories one day than another day, like my body's not a calculator, or it's not an equation, you know, like it doesn't need to be balanced and controlled by me. And I don't need to like miss something else out in the day to make up for X number of calories more or whatever, or like not have it because Brendan's not here and he's not having it. Like, all of those things were what reduced my pie chart right down to fuck all. Like, those are the things that kept me obsessed with food, weight, and my body. So like, I know now if I want to keep a diverse pie chart, that shit's got to be off the table. So I quite like having a coffee whilst I like do some puzzle, and then I sit with some scented candles as like a bit of self-soothing, and then usually like listen to a podcast or an audiobook. And I've only done puzzles since lockdown, but it's something I really, really wished I'd done in my recovery, because it's such a like simple thing to do, but it's really engaging, and it uses your brain and your hands. So like, as a distraction technique, if I was struggling after meals or just having a difficult day, yeah, I really wished I'd done puzzles. And I quite often do them now when I can't face doing anything else. Like, if I'm having a day when I just feel really, really down and I just can't do the normal stuff that I'm interested in, I feel like a puzzle's easy enough to do, and like, I don't know, it just stops me like going back to bed if that would make me feel more depressed. And then I can make my nice little setup, like with an audiobook, and just stuff that doesn't take too much energy or attention from me. And yeah, I think it's just ways to try and like lift my mood a bit, or distract from feeling really, really bad, and just to tolerate feeling a bit shit and wait for it to pass, rather than using food, body restriction and whatever as a way to cope and get through uncomfortable emotions. Stevie and Bertie always lie under the table when I'm doing a puzzle. So cute. I know lots of countries are in lockdown at the moment, so it's like February 2021, so with COVID, which can make it difficult for finding things to do if you're like stuck indoors in quarantine. I actually wrote out a list of like my kind of quarantine activities, like things I can do inside just so I didn't get too bored. So, oh, there's my don't worry about me course. Oh, and that's the pie chart thing that I drew out for the other video. But here is like my kind of COVID list. And mostly they're things that I can do inside. Some of them are like new hobbies as well, so I guess they are new segments in my pie chart, which quarantine almost forced me, really, to find these new things. And the things that I found interesting have probably changed during my recovery as well. Like, I've always loved reading, but I found it really difficult when my eating disorder was in full flow. Like, I couldn't read a book over the volume of the thoughts in my head. Then things like a puzzle probably would have been better. But as the eating disorder thoughts have moved out, like, yeah, I've had a lot more headspace for reading again. My family even made like a mini book club during lockdown, and we'd meet over Zoom every single week, and we were all reading the same book. It was Mo Gawdat's Soul for Happy, and every week we'd read a different couple of chapters and then like discuss it in that Zoom call. Or there might be like an online book club or something like that, if you like reading, not if you don't. Oh. God. Right, we are just about to head out for lunch, because if you want a nice full pie chart of life, you've got to feed it. Brendan and I are going to take Bertie. There's a new place opened up on the Palm in Dubai. And one of our favourite cafes has got a branch there and it's dog friendly, so we're going to go and try it out and take him. I would say relationships are a really important segment in my pie chart of life, and one that massively shrunk down with my eating disorder. I became like so isolated and detached from people. Even if I was around people, I wasn't really like properly mentally with them or like present. And it's probably quite a good example of how like the eating disorder had to move out for the relationship segment to be able to move in or to be able to grow, because so much of socializing and being with people does involve food. And even if it doesn't involve food, like if you're having a conversation with someone, you need to have the mental space to be able to like listen to what they're saying and take it in and have an interest in that person, and not just have 90% of your head ticking over with like, what have I eaten today? How many calories have I had? What am I going to eat for the rest of the day? Blah, 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 blah. And we both absolutely love one of the sandwiches on the menu. It's called Holy Guacamole. It's like chicken, bacon and avocado and stuff. It's so good. So probably get one of those and maybe a drink, which is calories and fluid, and it used to freak the shit out of me. But I did it again and again and again, and now it doesn't scare me. I guess with like time and practice, my brain's kind of rewired around these things. I don't have these rules anymore, and now I love doing things with friends and family, and I join in, like I exist in the same world as them. I'm not like locked away in my own little eating disorder world.
I don't know if you can see the changes that have come over me in these.
Yeah, I just think any little eating disorder rule you've got is taking up a bit of space in your brain and in your life that could otherwise be filled with something else. And that something else could be something like more meaningful to you, more important, more aligned with your values, and more like the life you want to live.
Where I came from, and that's the reason why I seem so far away today.
Right, this is the last bit of the video, I promise. It's getting far too long, but we're just getting packed up now. We're gonna go camping in the desert tonight. We're really lucky with our lockdown in Dubai, and we're not like confined to the house. So it's just a few friends, and we're gonna take the dog as well so that he can have a nice run around in the sand. And then we'll just get some bits for a barbecue tonight, and then probably a barbecue in the morning, thinking about it.
But in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life.
My friend's taking his guitar. And it's just made me think, like, across the last couple of years, I feel like I have learned so much more about myself and like my core self, like what I really love, what's most important to me. And honestly, I think I'm at my most happy when I'm outside. Going hiking is something I found this year, actually, just getting out into the mountains. Also, we live by the sea, so going paddleboarding I love, which we always tag on to lunch. So as the eating disorder's moved out, these are like some of the things which have moved in to fill its place, which is daunting. Like, it's really overwhelming when you face that kind of void of the eating disorder's gone, but other stuff hasn't moved in yet. don't know, just be patient. Like, think how long you've had your eating disorder for and how much it's taken away. Like, it's gonna take time for life to build back up in its place. Lots of love, and I'll record another video soon.
Caledonia's been everything I've ever had.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that a Scottish song?
Yeah.
Right.
That is lovely.
That's a beauty.